And welcome to Ducks No Sports. This week is my first installment of my NFL previews. Oh baby, can't wait for the NFL. Of course, big football fan. Love the NFL. My favorite league out of all my leagues. Probably my favorite league. And this season, like every season, is going to be intriguing. And we'll start now with the AFC East, which is pretty much. Except for here and there, pretty much one team's division over its last, decade or so. But when we talk about the AFCs, we got to talk about the team that's always on top over, it seems like the last decade or so, the New England Patriots. So we'll start there. The biggest question going to camp, can this defense go back to the Super Bowl? I mean, let's face facts. That defense last year was horrendous. And if they won the Super Bowl, I will go on record saying that was the worst defense to ever win a Super Bowl, but they didn't win. Came up that close, just was one Kronk catch away from being a Super Bowl champion. Hey, didn't happen though, didn't happen. And of course, this year they want to go back, and they have the weapons on offense, definitely. But with this defense, this is the hole right now. This is the one question going in. But the Pats, solid coaching staff, solid offense, led by Tom Brady. But the defense, they got a little bit on the draft, but we'll see those are draft picks. They always have their game from college just go to the pros, which isn't always instant. And I just think with this is going to be their Achilles heel, and this is probably going to keep them out of the Super Bowl this year, I believe, just because this defense is so bad, and I just do not believe in this defense. But on the other side of the ball, oh boy, do I believe. You got weapons galore, but your best weapon is a guy who gets everybody the ball. That is, of course, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. The man, the myth, the legend. Of course, we're talking about Tom Brady. What more can we say about this dude? Future first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest. Probably, maybe the second best QB all time, next to Montana. But I really believe Tom Brady is that great, and he filled up a lot of holes for the New England Patriots on defense, because the defense is always in a good spot because they're never behind in games, because Tom Brady doesn't let them get on games because the offense is so lethal. That's why I think the New England Patriots are going to have a great year again. I think they go back to the playoffs. Super Bowl, I'm not so sure. I think they go back to the playoffs. This defense, Joe, will make enough plays at the right time. But of course, this show always will be run through Tom Brady, and Tom Brady will make sure the Patriots go back to the playoffs. Okay, moving to probably the most intriguing team in the offseason, maybe next to the Saints. Of course, we're talking about the New York Jets. And the biggest question going to season for this team has to be, can Mark Sanchez and their newest QB sensation, Tim Tebow, coexist? Of course, we all remember Tim Tebow's magical carpet ride from last year with the Broncos. Took a team going nowhere last year and took them to the playoffs and won a playoff game. And then, of course, they get Peyton Manning, so they don't need Tebow anymore. So they trade him to the New York Jets, which was not the spot I thought he was going. But I think Sanchez Tebow will get along, because let's face it, Tebow's not going to cause anything. He's not going to stir up. He's not going to stir up, because that's not who he is. That's not who he is. I think this is what Mark Sanchez needs. He needs a guy to push him. Because let's be honest, who New York, through his years in New York, who's been pushing Mark Sanchez? Come on, no one. And I just think Tim Tebow will do that. He will push him, and it's already working. At a camp, they're saying, Mark Sanchez is the best shape he's ever been in. It's the most focused there's been, and that's exactly why they brought in Tim Tebow. I don't think they brought him in to start. Honestly, I believe they don't think he is a starter. I thought they brought him in just to push Mark Sanchez, and that's exactly what they're doing. Exactly what he's doing right now. He's doing his job perfectly, and I think that this is going to work. Call me an optimist, call me crazy, but I think Mark Sanchez is going to have his best year yet, and I really like Mark Sanchez. I mean, let's remember, he's been in the league for 3 years. He's been to 2 AFC Championship games. That is impressive. We cannot take that away from him. And I think Tim Tebow will be a great backup, will be a good team guy, not stir up anything, and I think he will push Mark Sanchez to the limit, and Mark Sanchez a great year. But of course, we all talk about Jets. We got to talk about, it was pretty much a disaster last year in New York. I mean, in locker room bickering, back and forth, people calling him out, functional, no doubt. And I just think they got to clean this up because it was ugly last year. I really thought the Jets were a Super Bowl contending team. They didn't come near the playoffs, but that was losses this year. I think, and I like how this team has kind of put that all in the past, and they're just moving forward. They got rid of some of those players that were stirring up shit. Got rid of some of those players. I like that. And I believe the New York Jets, call me crazy, but I think everybody's down the Jets. Everybody's saying they won't win than 8 games. I think the New York Jets are a playoff capable team. I really think the Jets can make the playoffs. Will they go to the Super Bowl? I don't think that good, but I do believe in the New York Jets. I believe in Rex Ryan. I think Rex Ryan is a good coach. I believe Rex Ryan is a great coach. One of the best coaches, maybe not the best coaches, but a very, very good coach. And I believe Rex Ryan will push enough buttons on this team to get them back to the playoffs. And I think this defense goes back to being the New York Jets defense and becomes a dominant defense once again. And the New York Jets go to the playoff. And our next team we're going to talk about, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo, they made a bit of a signing in the offseason. Signing Mario Williams to big money. And I think Mario Williams, of course, missed not most of the season last year with a injury. And a lot of people didn't want to go near him because they're afraid he wasn't fully recovered. I think that's a little stupid. I think Mario Williams is one of the best defensive ends in the game today. And personally, I would throw all the money at him to get him because I think he'll be that good. And I think Mario Williams is going to make this defense a lot better. And this defense has slowly turned into a very good defense. I mean, they got pressure now. The Buffalo Bills now have a identity. For years, we know what they really were. Now they do. They are going to be a great defense. And when you play in a division with Tom Brady, how do you beat the Pats? Getting Tom Brady on his ass as much as possible. And I think now with Mario Williams, they have that. They can create pressure, and they got some ball hawks there back in the secondary that will pick balls off and take them to the house. That's exactly what they need. That's why I really like the Bills this year. Are they a playoff team? I just don't think that yet, but I think Mario Williams will bring a lot to that defense. And with that offense, though, with Fitzpatrick back there, I wasn't big on giving him the cash, but he has some weapons now. He has Fred Jackson, who is a very good running back. Very underrated running back. Of course, their backup, C.J. Spiller, who can flat out fly. I like C.J. Spiller a lot. I hope to see a lot more of him in the offense the last few years. Maybe get him in there, maybe in the flat, so he can just go up there and fly. And Stevie Johnson, he might be a knucklehead, but he is a good receiver that catches the ball and gets a lot of touchdowns. I think the Buffalo Bills, everything is rolling right now for Buffalo. Everything's looking good for the best it's been in years. Haven't made the playoffs since like 99. And I don't think they're quite a playoff team, but I think the Buffalo Bills are going in the right direction, and I really like this team going forward in future years. And our final team, this is where this gets ugly, folks. The Miami Dolphins. Of course, the biggest question going into the season for them has to be, who the hell is their quarterback? Who? I mean, right now it's a race between Matt Moore, who played pretty well last year for Miami, down the stretch. David Garrard, who played about 0 games last year for anyone, and their rookie sensation Tannenhill, who currently is not in camp. So that's off to a great start, and this might be the most lamest QB race in the history of football. Because let's be honest, none of these guys are really, maybe Matt Moore, maybe Tannehill, maybe Wortham could be a starter, but I think all these guys are backups at best. I mean, Matt Moore did a great season last year, but I think that was just a fluke. Garrard, his best years are behind him. And Tannehill, he's a rookie, he's young. Maybe he could turn to something. I think Tannehill has to sit for at least 2 years, because I think I see him being rushed in the fire, being pushed in the fire, and not going well. They made a few signings. They tried to make a few splash signings. That didn't happen. Peyton Manning. Name a few. That didn't work. But they signed Chad. Don't call me Ocho Johnson. That's, of course, Ocho Cinco now. Of course, Chad Johnson, who, of course, had a horrible year last year. I think he had, one touchdown with the Pats. Really was lost in New England. Never really picked up the offense. Didn't really, wasn't clicking there. Even with Tom Brady, Tom Brady is one of the greatest QBs ever play, but couldn't make Chad Johnson relevant again. And if, Tom Brady couldn't get Chad Johnson the ball, then how the hell is Matt Moore going to give him the ball? You know what I mean? The Miami Dolphins, hey, they could shock some people, maybe win a few games here and there, but the Miami Dolphins are going to be an awful team. They're going to be picking top near the draft again. And I think, it's just ugly. They're a whole new coaching staff, so they lost their defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan, who had made a big impact there in Miami the last couple of years. He's gone. He's in Atlanta now. Then that's going to be a huge loss. And I just think this year, the Miami Dolphins are in for a rough year, and I think Miami Dolphins might be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, and will be a very bad team, as I said. But who wins the AFC East? I think who's going to win it? Who always wins it? The New England Patriots win it. I think they win about 12 games, which I think will be enough to win this division, and I think the Patriots go back to the playoffs and win the AFC East. Well, that's it. That's my first one. My next video will be the AFC North. Should be good. Always interesting. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals. Great division. One of the toughest divisions in football. That's going to be great. But that's next time. But till next time, I'm Aaron Ducks. I'm Ducks, and I know sports.